I need a progressive passer in Vibin along with Marlon Trujillo. Those are the two players who will be playing there. Vibin has a good pass around and also got a bit dazed in between. Remember inside the box when they tried to make that pass and almost conceded a goal. So these are good positive changes. Second 45 coming up, a big one as well. Mumbai City have already won their first game. They have 3 points on the board. Now the Blasters need to get some points as well. Losing 2 out of 2 is something that they will not accept. At the same time, of course, it's very early in the season. Despite it being a shorter season, it is still early in the season.
Yeah, but Mumbai, of course, Sahil Panwar was on yellow. I understand that change. That might be a bit risky. At the same time, they have to switch that centre back pairing left and right. Some would say that doesn't matter much, but sometimes might.
Facing away from the playing area. Arsh needed more on that. That was missed it. Unlucky for him. There was no black shirt close by. And now Pereira Diaz. It's better than that.
Still not back to that final form he was in before the injury. It takes time. We saw Roshan as well. That's a case that head injury after return wasn't as sharp, but picked up later.
There's a little soft from Omar Ba. There's Pereira Diaz. And Brandon puts it back towards Tulunga. And Chante, who is onside, has converted it. Mumbai City start the second half by opening the scoring, and it's all about that scuffed clearance switch. She needed a lot more distance on it, and in the end just a chance hook from Brandon towards Tulunga, whose shot was deflected and bungled home by Chante.
Smart work from Brandon there. Just so aware of his surroundings, the sign of a good player. Look at that miscontrol initially, I would say, but then just knows his men around. Tulunga's powerful shot. And Chante just keeps his composure. Doesn't blow it straight to the keeper, just places it to the side of the net. A matured goal scorer in the making. Gives Mumbai. A lot of talent, but difficult to settle in such a high intensity fixture when the crowd is roaring at you. There was a marked clear on the ground just outside the box.
That call. The thing about this is you take a player off who was on a yellow card for the little safety centre back to make a challenge to stop a promising attack. It always happens. And Abdullah Shafri has got himself to look. Within 5 minutes of coming on.
And now you have lesser experience on pitch with the yellow card.
All comes down to whether the Blasters can punish City for that. We saw Badonio test Lachempa from a distance. This one is also tempting to hit for the right footer. much like the player who takes that big breath before hitting free kicks. Same result, he's at the wall.
Needed a curl like number 10 out there. The last one was a better situation for that.
And now they lead the fans back on the side. Makes an interception, picked up by Pereira Diaz to a string of boos. Good pass from Kauko, wonderful little flick from Chante. Here's Pereira Diaz, takes it past Naucha and sets up a hit for Brandon, who's got that wrong.
That footing, the non-kicking foot, the way he placed it. Nice work from Diaz to find him though. He was already set for the shot, didn't place it well, and away from the body goes off target.
Kept over the top, Chante was sprinting race with Naucha. Pereira Diaz marking the path of Valbuya. Unikako. Pereira Diaz just needed a better angle. Omar has a lot of presence in the box, but his pace and acceleration might be something that attackers will be exploiting. Just seems a little slow off the mark at times. Maybe he's catching up to fitness or something. But it is that lack of urgency as well from that clearance that he made, from which the goal came for Chante's 47th in the RSL. 3 away from 50 now.
Catching up quick. Still remember that 18-year-old making his national team debut and Stephen Constantine in the Del Dynamos Northeast United for a bit before that.
Coming here biting at Chante's ankles. Giving it straight back to Unikako. Trying to make those simple passes. Here's Akash Mishra. Pereira Diaz. And this time, Danish sees it early.
A bit lazy out there from Mumbai City. They have to lead, they just need to be sure they don't get too complacent with it.
possession for the home side. Just losing patience after all of the possession there. The clash of heads as Mishra and Guru go up, but there's something that was raised in last night's game as well, where you need to draw the opposition to one side and then play that long switch. Just no chance that with a lofted ball like that, Guru is going to win it against Mishra.
Not too much in that, but of course, I think there is speed a good priority. You rightly mentioned needed more patience, but Mumbai doing well to just hold on to their shape. Just not allowing any free spaces in the midfield. They're trying to keep the ball on the ground, Blasters, and they're trying to time and again use Marlon. And in the second half, if you see, he's been very silent because Mumbai have read that plan, and now he's not being allowed freedom on the ball.
At all, in fact. Hardly seen him. It's more like the jaw than the head for Akash Mishra. Flag goes up eventually. And it's very loose from Sandeep.
Another previous offside occasion, just an example of what you were saying a while ago, the pace matchup between Diaz and Omar.
Chanting. Katala is going to be making more changes. Devin Das will be coming on for. There it is, Marlon Rose Trujillo. And now Bartomeu is urged to shoot by some sections of the crowd. Sandeep smartly into the path of Danish, who's been making those runs into the half spaces. Needed more on that pass from Guru.
How many times now has that happened in the midfield? Keralablasters is giving the ball away. Someone needs to get a word in from the bench. Get serious. You're down by a goal. You cannot keep giving it away like that.
Again, Guru involved in another challenge.
And once again, it's Vikram unbothered, just climbing on to Koro. Had eyes on the ball. Didn't have intent to hurt. Just the way he went into that leap. It doesn't look like by his stature one would look and say from distance, but he's physically very good as well, Vikram.
Matias Hernandez is also ready to come on. Keralablasters. The first little glimpse at him and what he can do. Looks like it's going to be three at the back with Ebin Dasa and Matias Hernandez and Danish between all midfielders. Danish might shift slightly wider. Sandeep Omar Bhai and Naucha at the back. Remains to be seen what happens. Is Danish slot in there?
Yeah, I think it will be Danish slotting in and Naucha and Koro being the right backs. Or is it something totally different? We can see Matthias.
Well, it's a formula we'll have to work out. David Katala himself is also probably working out the best positions for a new set of players, and it's not just about placing players in the right position, it's also about how they get along with the players surrounding them. Now Blasters will be hoping it's an experiment that works. Seneca was stopped by Evan Das meanwhile.
That's very strange.
Chante, Herrera Diaz takes it back again. Kevin Yoke has to help out. And if you look at the stature of Matias Hernandez as well, doesn't look like a centre-back.
Yeah, even I'm surprised they continue with the back four, at least as of now. Two foreign centre-backs right now. One is not a natural centre-back.
He's a defensive midfielder on paper, that's what his bio says.
Again, how does that change make sense is what I'm trying to make out, because if you're adding on an extra attacker, that is understandable. You take off a centre-back who is not really doing too much wrong. But Evan Das is another one loved here. Recently won at Super League Kerala.
Really good play from Herrera Diaz tonight. You see, it's a slightly different role. What he's doing is just dropping slightly deeper, letting Chante and Vikram take over whenever necessary. It's also a realization that yes, of course he's a target man, he loves making those darting runs into the box, but sometimes you've got to readjust the way you play. He's done a very good job at doing exactly that. It's allowed the likes of Brandon, also he's had a couple of shots, to have some more freedom in terms of space. To Herrera Diaz. And this is exactly an example of what we were talking about. His urge to shoot low and shoot, he does not shake. Has cleared it away, it's still in the box. Vikram Pratap, and once more it's a little deflection of Chante. Herrera Diaz had taken a snapshot instinctively.
Well, Ash is doing well, but I'm not sure if his defense is supporting him as much. Too many shots being allowed, too many passes being allowed. Mumbai City have the lead, they're going to have to slow down the tempo of the game and play the way they are playing.
Well, Danish. He's also wearing the cap captain's armband now. And Vikas is off the pitch. Vibin. Nacha. And Kevin Yoke. Evan Das. Kevin Yoke creates some space. And takes a shot as well.
But look at that commitment from Mumbai. 4 players rushing onto that shot, not to allow free shot goal. They know they are into a different format of the season. And every point, every goal matters here. They want to contain that 1-goal lead. Just be patient enough to try and get the second.
Tough start, of course, for Blasters in this ISL, Mohan Bagan Super Giant, and then Mumbai City as the first 2 games. Indakashi and Chennai coming up next. Ramada gets away with one. And of course, the 5th game is East Bengal. We're all talking about East Bengal flying high, playing some fantastic football. Still a long way to the table to fall into place, but Mumbai City, if they can make it 2 wins out of 2, that'd be perfect. David Katalas and Peter Kratke both know that they can't exit that technical area. Peter Kratke was right there next to the 4th official.
The 4th official was busy watching the game.
It has to be a little fast from Keralablasters. It's all nice and good to watch sometimes when you string in 4, 5, 6, 7 passes together, but it's very different from how they were playing in the first 45. And it's understandable because they've conceded a goal at the top of the second half, but that doesn't mean the entire system or the approach changes. Mumbai City, meanwhile, have done very well to slow it down as well and continuously threaten every time they get the chance.
And there's some beautiful work from Dampuya under pressure.
Good. Danish. It might be worth wondering whether Danish and Kuru should be swapping roles. Kuru should be making that run going forward. Danish should be the one playing him into the channel. It's happened a few times that players just simply stopped up because Danish, even though he's played as a striker, that was long ago in the I-League for Real Kashmir. Over the last few years, he's mainly a central midfielder, so it's a little different for him as well. Kuru, however, will thrive in that area.
Urgency from Mumbai, and why should they show some urgency? It's Keralablasters who need to step up the game, need to find a different way. Vibin is on the pitch. We have Evan Das now attacking outlets.
I remember what it was in the Super Cup as well. They made such a bright start and then they were in the game until, of course, Sandeep got sent off and then that Sahif own goal. Right at the death is what gave Mumbai the win. And that was 1-0 as well. Too straight for now, Chuck.
And this time well timed the challenge from Vijay.
Matias Hernandez plays it out wide. Now Chuck. No answer. answers in the final turn from the Blasters.
Initially, advantage was allowed there. But they've made more changes already. One left in hand. I think for me it is a no-brainer. Axel has to come on.
Kavindas moves it out wide for Kuru. Sandeep in front of him. Kuru cuts inside and once again looking for Danish in that little pocket. Kevin York. Decent cutback. Someone was planning to make a run onto it. A late run into the box is what it needed. And now Chante, feed up, cuts onto his stronger side, taken away by Pereira Diaz. It's an intelligent exchange and straight to Ash. They eventually have to be careful.
And that effort is exactly why we put Kitabis on the pitch. Slides into those half chances.
Hardly seen a cross come in from the Blasters. That ball from Kevin York about a minute ago. It's possibly maybe the first or the second cross we've seen from them in the second 45. And that has to be worrying because, and then the other thing is this as well, Omar Ba needs to keep up the pace with the game. He's got to go into the book for that, which he does.
It was a planned press. That is a bad challenge. The foot was nowhere near the ball, rightfully given a yellow. But that is a planned press. You could see Kauko coming up. He understood Brandon was beside him. Just goes into the chase. Where does Omar Ba run into? He runs into Brandon.
Nice, the heavy touch. And then it was his attempt to win it back very quickly. We go into a drinks break. As Brandon gets some treatment on the pitch. A little laboured, the Blasters. A little one-dimensional. It's almost... It's like they're looking like last season's Mumbai City, to be very honest. Playing the ball from side to side, it looks nice, but it hasn't been effective yet. Surely they will find an answer. It's just the second game of the season. There was a lot of hope in the way they started the game, though. If only they could have continued with that, by that same fashion.
But that Mumbai City had one man troubling the defenders constantly. Chante on his screen. Who does Blasters have is the question now. They need to find an answer quick.
This is how the goal came. And Brandon instinctively using his technique. Tulunga was in the right place. And see, that's what happens when there's a midfielder attacking the edge of the area. There's a situation where they can take a shot and then this it just sprang up perfectly. For Chante was never going to miss from there.
Nice little celebration as well. I think it all comes down to building an atmosphere. A lot of players coming in from that ivy performing gradually. It's about tier 2 feeding players to tier 1, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be a competition between the two, it should be a combination supplying for the national team.
Let's say it looks like a back 4 on the tactics board. Muhammad Ajsal will be coming on. Your wish has come true, Vasu.
And now the Blasters fans will hope that he gets their wish to get the goal. But again, now they sacrifice another defender. So they just have two natural defenders on the pitch. One of course is Omar and the other one is Naucha.
On it is his first Indian Super League appearance. played in the Super Cup qualifiers in 2024, played in the Kerala Super League as you mentioned. Here comes Vikram, now creates an angle to shoot and almost tried to take it on. He's asking for a penalty. Pratik Mandal is not going to give that to him. Kevin Yoke. That's a much better ball. Kevin Das. Needed more of that. Got a bit too excited, the youngster.
So that's the Vikram chance again. He was asking for a penalty, not too much in it. We have seen those being given, but would have been a harsh call, 50-50.
A lot of players who are listed as forwards and midfielders are now on the pitch for Keralablasters. Not a lot of defenders. He's throwing everything. Danish plays it back to Koru. Koru's other foot came in between, still manages to squeeze in something which Akash Mishra will clear away.
You know the best part about Axel and why I was calling for him? He's just 22 years old, still an under 23 player, doing that at senior level, scoring too many goals, and even when he was with Interkashi, they would bring him on and he would occasionally score a goal, and that is against seniors. He really has that ability. Even this year's Santosh Trophy for Kerala, he scored a lot of goals too.
Mumbai City have suffocated the Blasters so far after scoring their goal early on in the second half. Yoke. Axel. Kevin Yoke again uses his left foot, might run straight to Koru. There's nobody making a run down the wing. Koru is on his own. He's got to take on Akash Mishra, and the chance is gone. Someone has to give him support, either behind him or in front of him. Some movement. It's just too easy for Mumbai City to trap them at the moment.
Akash Mishra kept his eyes on the ball. A bit over dependency on a fairly young winger. Still very young. He needs to have a backup option too, even if he is the first choice at this age. Tired legs, 18 minutes in, he's still trying.
Yeah, that's exactly why the players in front of him have to move. They've got to move. And a lot of those players have just been brought on. Axel, Levindas, Danish, of course, has been there from the start, but has to be better movement to give him as well for that matter. Has been caught. Yeah, he'll be fine now. That's exactly why the referee didn't stop play, because Vikram Pratap can sometimes just make a lot of noise. For all the great things he does once in a while, he can try and buy a free kick. Probably one of the reasons why Pratik Mandal waved away that penalty shot earlier as well about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Pereira Diaz takes it off Vipin, just with a shrug of his shoulders. Matias had to touch it away. Chante. Mumbai City have made just the one change. Peter Crafty must be really liking what he sees right now. The organisation is perfect. Again, handball. He can't take a decision on his own. He's got to learn. This is one side of his game he's got to improve.
Just trying to buy some time, trying to trick the official, who hasn't been tricked so far.
Saw one last night, didn't we? Messi goalie trying to take the ball and then getting a handball, giving away one. Here's Danish. Now Cha. Out of play.
When things go downhill, they keep going downhill. Keeps rolling. You expect a lot better from Alcha.
Going to be another tight win, it seems, from Mumbai City, unless the Blasters can produce something special. Keralablasters just struggling a little, may have to be brought off. Zoltan Puya will be the player coming on as he continues his development and coming through the ranks.
And now some credit needs to go down to that state of Mizoram. We've seen a lot of players coming up from Manipur, but now if you see here, Valpuya, Shante on the pitch, you could see. And now Pulpuya comes on, Rinzuana earlier in the day scoring the goal. We saw Edmund last day, all of them from Mizoram.
A bit of a problem. This gives Kratky a chance to speak with Chante as well, just close this game out. Danish has stayed down. He'll knock into the ribs. Diaz catching him with his elbow.
We haven't really talked about the players that Blasters let go over the years. From Kapsukamji to Cheekson to now Ayman and Azhar. All of their performers have been released gradually. That is not a big headache. You would want to keep those players who are performing for you.
Go into the reverse gear. And once again, it's a lack of movement in front of him. Someone has to go wide, go to the touchline, play the pass back to him. And Katala might have reason to be very disappointed with the lack of movement from his players. Just give it out. Must be brought down for Evin Das, who can switch it out wide for Nauchi. Just past Yoke again. Difference in passing quality. A little less on that from Brandon, and Pereira Diaz was through.
You can certainly do better, Brandon. When you look at him now and say he's so lethal, people have watched him during his Church and Brothers days. He used to be as lethal as anyone could be.
Kuru. Early ball in. Bartomeu tried to bring it down. Just hasn't had the service. Now that should have been a free kick. You get away with some, you don't get some. Evin Das. Just trying to poke it. Give the ball some kind of deflection to take it past the Lachenpa.
You want that partner. Just a little movement from Bartomeu, deceiving the defender, and then Axel gets in. You want that strike partner with him from the start.
Exactly, someone has to drop deep, give an option to Evin Das, which is not just a lofted straight pass. Shot. Here's Brandon. to discredit Mumbai City's organisation and resilience. But the Blasters have made it easy for them to defend. They've not asked enough questions of Mumbai City. And that is what will disappoint Katala the most, and the fans, and also the players eventually. But if anyone has watched and followed football, they will know that movement in front of the ball is extremely important. And if you look right now, there's just the one option, and it's a lot of stationary bodies. Just a warning from the official.
And not really from Keralablasters, just sticking a foot in. He's tired as well, done a lot of running.
Koru, there's the cutback. Ajsal, Naucha, Evandas, and it's over. Unless Matias can send something meaningful, sent out by Nuno Rish almost immediately. Chante.
Now they're just making the Blasters play to their teams right now.
Diaz, Vikram's moving in front of him. He's going to take a hit as well.
And there is another thing he needs to learn, because it's 1-0. A 2-0, 3-0 you wouldn't mind. But there was Chante available at the far post.
Koru. It's been very wasteful putting Koru as your widest player there. It's not that he doesn't want to play wide, but he can't be the player feeding the ball into the channel. He's got to be the player receiving the ball in the channel. And it's probably happened 30 times in this game, where he's been the player trying to play in Danish and Evandas and Vivian or everyone else is there. And for that matter, Sandeep earlier on as well. Franklin comes on, and they come off. It started off as a very promising first half. In fact, for both teams, it's not just one-sided, but especially for the Blasters, it's just not been replicated after they conceded. And that's why it's such an anomaly, as Lachenka goes into the book, for time wasting. It's such an anomaly to have this incredible fan base, this incredible support in stadium and the atmosphere, and then being unable to capitalize on it more regularly. There it is. There's so many people demanding your touch goes missing, your pass is bad. They've got to use that, all these players. It's new for them, a lot of them. And hopefully they grow into that. Hopefully they mature into players who can play regularly in Kochi and deliver.
I think they get that goal in that 5 minutes additional time, because Mumbai haven't been too eager to make it 2.
Exactly, they've got to push though. They've got to push. Put more pressure on them. Shankar. Pereira Diaz. Bang! Quick save from Ash. And Adam is not going to let this man score. He did get a touch. Pereira Diaz is very rightfully asking for a corner.
Certainly this man not asking for a corner there. That is a good snapshot there. Fingertips on it from Ash. Could have rolled into the bottom corner.
Surely that's a corner, surely. The officials can see that. Missed it somehow. Easy for us to spot from this angle. Now, Chuck. Whips it in. It's a good delivery. That's what happens when you send the ball into the right area in the box. It's a good lead from Axel as well.
Very good cross in from Nacha. Needed much more of that in the game. But now that Axel is in with Bartomeu, it's causing trouble.
Took a little touch, it seems, on its way out. Blasters have a corner. A goal now. Change the acoustics. Sounded like a whistle went off. Plane went on though. I'm the only one who heard that. Did you as well?
And I think it took the corner kick before the whistle.
Falls to Naucha. Oh, the extra touch and the moment was gone. Probably didn't intend for that touch. Overran the ball.
Just to a little more about that battle, Naucha and Korea used to be teammates in Punjab FC where they won the I-League.
Here it comes from Evan Das. He's close to Manjappada. Mumbai City will have to defend slightly deeper next 90 odd seconds. The Kraken will be very happy the way they've held on, the way they found the goal. It's pretty. And it's not like they played long ball, pointless long balls in 1-0. They've actually controlled the game by not controlling possession, and that is something that very few teams can do. It's about the Blasters now in possession. And in York, it's an inviting ball for Bartomeu. And the entire stadium went up in arms in expectation for the net to bulge, including David Satala. But it is not to be. It just seems like one of those games where it's not to be.
There are lots of positives to take home. Did come up a defender, looks like. Yeah, it is well defended by PJ Chitri. Should be a corner.
Is there a chance in this? And the Blasters snatch a point. Very animated Pratik Wanda saying no pushing, no holding. And thus once more, up they all go. They haven't thought about it. And give it straight to Pereira Diaz. Shante, needed a better first touch. Wigan wins it back. And that is that. Mumbai City make it 2 wins out of 2. The Keralablasters start the season with 2 defeats in a row. First to Mohan Bagan Supergiant and then to Peter Kratky's City, who seem to have hit a groove. They'll take 2 1-0s, which means they are level now on points. East Bengal and Jamshedpur. And Chante's goal just at the start of the second half was enough. It ends the Blasters 0, Mumbai City 1.
कैटेगरी है खाना पीना शादी